coherent in some ways. And if you try to get an answer to everything, then that worldview becomes more and more watertight, and it doesn't let anything else into it. So some worldviews keep in communication with others or get challenged, and they keep open and more flexible, and others, especially in times of stress, you know, they say a lot of the growth of fundamentalism is because of the enormous changes moving into modernity. And because of that stress, people then try to get a worldview that gives them all the answers, and they can't cope with anything more, and it closes in.
Hi there. Sure. First and foremost, thank you so much for today. It was really very interesting. I just wanted to share with you a quick story that experience I had about a year ago. I think that's kind of where we're going to go from there. About a year ago, I was at a house party here in Toronto. I was back in town visiting, and I was approached by a female who propositioned me, which is not, you know, completely uncommon for my age and so on and so forth. So, you know, we exchanged pleasantries, and it got a little more serious and escalated. We exchanged some text messages and so on and so forth. And by the end of the night, ended up having, you know, relations in the bathroom. So it turned out that this particular female was a member of a Toronto feminist group, and her objective in life was to name and shame Toronto guys who she didn't feel, you know, acted in a proper manner. She did this by baiting them and then completely consensually entering into, you know, relations and then publicizing it on her blog, which was a quite well read blog in Toronto. So my text messages were taken completely out of context. She went through and deleted. On the iPhone, you can delete half the conversation, so on and so forth. Published it. It was really, really bad. And I mean, and that was kind of the first time that I started thinking about women's issues and so on and so forth. I was just at a party and this happened. Thankfully, because most of, or I would say 80% of what happened wasn't true, within, you know, a couple of days, my lawyer had that all taken care of. Everything was taken down. I opted not, and I could have opted not to proceed with a civil suit against her for defamation, or libel defamation. I unfortunately lost a business client because of it, probably about $12,000. Two things that kind of have come from this. The first is that, to me, stuff like that is really dangerous to feminism equality. And I worry about the direction that the conversation is going because of, you know, these kind of extreme feminist people out there who are trying to kind of derail the conversation. How do we start to steer that into something that's actually, you know, worth talking about? And I guess the other thing that I'm worried about is that it makes it really difficult for me to feel comfortable approaching women in bars and social settings now.
Well, there's enormous ambiguity in sexual relations, and that can also be exploited. And it's dangerous territory. And again, are we going to get cynical and say, never speak to a woman, never have a relation with a woman? It's too dangerous. Can't even set up your video camera to have a recording to use in court, because then you get caught for another fine for doing that. So I don't know what to tell you. You know, this is kind of a product of our age, and it's absolutely awful. But again, we have to have enough trust in each other as men and women to work towards solutions of problems and get beyond this. Because if this sort of thing perpetuates and gets worse, then we really have hostile societies of men versus women. Separate societies, hostile societies, and I can't see how anybody comes out for the better.
You know, I've had some experience in Jewish-Christian relations. And
Yeah, and I was never satisfied with the results because some people just found it entertaining. But relations between men and women are different in one important way, and that is Jews and Christians do not need dialogue in a sense because the state guarantees their rights. Men and women, however, do need each other. If we're going to have a society at all, it's got to be with men and women. And as for consensual sex, I mean, most famous one I can think of who denied that there is such a thing possible as consensual sex was Andrea Dworkin. I mean, she believed that women were so oppressed that they could not give consent to a sexual act, even if they want it, even if they say yes, yes, it is impossible for them to give it. Therefore, every act of sexual intercourse between a man and a woman amounts to rape. So that's how far you can go.
Another cheerful note.
What a great way to
He said to me, he didn't conflict, like,